So, welcome to the Cardboard Guide TG, and this is the second time around that we have the pleasure of having you on the channel. The first time we talked a little about art pieces, and today you have something really special in store for us, also very collectible, and that is a sample pack that you're going to open here on the channel. And yeah, that is amazing. And I know you have a few surprises in store for us too. So without further ado, would you like to introduce yourself to all those that haven't seen the interview yet?
Sure, and thanks for having me again. It's always nice to see
Yeah,
you.
our
I really
pleasure.
appreciate it. And so I am just an avid fan. I've been in the Magic art space and Magic cards since pretty much the beginning. Really enjoying sorcery though, and the direction that that's taking us back towards old school Magic and its art. I mean, it's really like my perfect sweet spot. And so getting an opportunity to come in on the ground floor on this one, definitely taking that opportunity as many others are as well.
Yeah, definitely. So today you have very special treat for us, and it is a silver sample pack. Could we just go into what are these packs? Because a lot of newcomers to the game probably don't know what they are, and why don't they look like just a regular sorcery pack?
Yeah, by all means, I think you've done some research on that yourself.
Yeah.
And can fill us in as well. But these are pre-alpha packs, and as I understand it, they were done primarily for promotional purposes, and they have different wording. They have kind of earlier wordings and a lot of things. They have some cards that they decided to get rid of. Some I think for the better, like counter spells, and
Yeah.
I think. I don't know the exact number, Sophie. Maybe you do. I think it's about 250 packs that were produced.
Yeah, 244. Yep.
So there's believed to be a couple maybe of each unique that's in sample packs. There's not that many elites either. They switched the rarity on certain things. So there's quite a bit of differences between the actual sorcery cards and the sample pack cards, which is a lot of fun. I don't know what else you might want to add from your research.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. It was just to give a little bit of an introduction, and there's some really cool stuff in there. And like you said, they did a lot of sampling to test card quality, the print quality, and then they send them out as promotional material in the beginning. And they also, if you were as lucky as to get in on the Kickstarter, they were, I think, the first 100 of any backer tier got a sample card, and then some of the very high tier backers, they got several sample packs. So there are some in existence, but they are really rare. And I think some of the calculations I've seen is between 2 and 3 of any given unique card. So if you get a unique card, it is exceptionally rare. And if you get an elite card, that is also going to be really rare. And there's some cool stuff in there.
Yeah, and I think it's also worth mentioning that I think people have noticed alphas seem a little bit more colorful and saturated than betas. The sample cards are even more so. They're over the top saturated. They're absolutely gorgeous. So really beautiful. And before I open, let me show you a couple. I've been lucky enough to be able to collect a few sample cards as we went along.
Yeah.
I actually bought a set of open packs from an early adopter of the game as well. So I have a chance.
I'm just gonna switch you over so we can see those beautiful cards.
All
right. There you go.
Yeah. So I'll start with a couple cards that are in the current game, but are different. So this one, folks will recognize as an Earth Core. However, it was not always an Earth Core. It was an exceptional previously. And it was a ward. So if you think back to Magic Alpha set, there were wards that kind of protect you from something, and this works in that kind of way. Those were terrible in Magic.
Yeah,
I'm pretty happy that they went a different direction with this. And so this is one of the examples of something that got quite switched around. And I actually traded this one I actually got an Aqua, and somebody had 3 of the 4 different ones, and I was able to trade him the Aqua for what he had an extra of. So there's a person out there with a full set of these, which is really cool.
Wow. And also noticed that it's called a gem and not a core.
Yes.
And it was only exceptional at that point.
Exactly. Earth Ward Gem. And the wording is nearby Earth damage is reduced by 2. Bearer can't be targeted by Earth spells. So very similar to early Magic awards.
Wow.
Yes,
I'm
it
so
did.
happy that he skipped or changed that, because that would have been terrible in game.
Indeed. So this is a unique instead of an elite in the sample pack. So this is a pretty special card. Presumably there's one for each. Maybe we'll see one in a pack today. I would love that in the pack. So this is more like the cores. So they really kind of switch things around, and how the mixes were, as far as I know, doesn't appear as a type of card in the previous or in the sample packs.
That's so fun to see.
Yeah, I'm very interested for the
spell.
story.
Oh, sorry, Sophie. The controller's wind spells cost 1 less mana to cast. So not only does that reveal a different wording, but it reveals that the element was wind instead of air previously, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, and that's some of the fun part, both about these, but also some of the spellcraft cards. Just seeing some of those changes going on, that's very cool.
And did it say mana, or did it have the resource symbol?
Here's another one I'm excited didn't make it into the game, which is a counterspell. There were a counterspell at each rarity level. So there's an ordinary counterspell, an exceptional counterspell, probably an elite, and a unique. This one's the exceptional counterspell. It works sort of like the dodge. You can cast it during your opponent's turn. It costs 0. But it only counters things of a particular rarity level, which is kind of an interesting idea. So those are pretty neat historical artifacts. Obviously, really cool art too. I'd love to see this appear in Arthurian Legends or somewhere else as a reprise.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that art could actually make it into Arthurian Legends. That would be pretty cool.
That could be a Merlin.
It could. It could.
It's a classic wizard for sure.
Yeah.
And then another card that was in Magic, Force Field. And I've seen Drew's art for this, I think, year before last at LuxCon, and then again this year. And not in the game, but we'll see if it appears somewhere else. So this is an example of a piece that just totally didn't appear in the game at all. I'm going to need my glasses for this one because the text is small. But it's an elite magic of impenetrable protection. No minion may enter a location near the spellcaster from outside of the force field. This force field is broken if 3 or more minions try to enter at the same time from the same location. So really neat and ingenious effect. And that one, I think, kind of could have been neat, but they probably found that it made it too hard to win the game with the mechanic, would be my guess. But it's a fun historical piece there.
It might also be a bit redundant, having the walls and everything, which have a similar effect.
Yeah, that's right. So I think at this point, without further ado, perhaps
drum roll.
Now, when I've seen Mike Servati try to open these on screen, he's had quite a challenge with them. So I do have some scissors handy if they turn out to be hard to open. This is a UK pack, as far as I understand it.
Yes.
They're pretty well. I mean, this thing looks like you could probably take it into space with you and it would be fine. It's quite a pack. Packing job. I should mention too that when I received it, the packing job was tremendous. The guy who sold it to me, not only did he put it in a box with padding and so on, he actually put it in a Tupperware with more padding inside. So it actually has like a seal on it. The thing probably could have gone underwater and still got to me safely. So it was, and now I have some place to put my cookies too.
Awesome. I feel like that's
packaging. A 2-for-1.
Yeah, that's packaging goals.
All right. Well, I got a little corner off of it, so I'm just going to go with the scissors so I don't potentially damage anything.
Got it.
But I suppose those could damage things too if we go wrong. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them face down.
Ooh.
And we'll flip them one at a time.
One tries to escape.
Able to. Yeah. What do we got going on here?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to preface it with, we should have a pack of 15 cards. There should be, the 11 ordinaries, 3 exceptionals, and then 1 either elite or unique.
Mm-hmm.
And we are more than excited. So go on ahead whenever you're ready.
So is there one card that you're hoping to get? Should we try to make this happen?
Who wouldn't like the Philosopher's Stone? That's one of those I think sold for quite a pretty penny. It would be a really fun collector piece to have. It would be really fun to see something that hasn't been opened yet, that no one has seen yet. So that would be neat too. I wouldn't even know what it was to ask for, so that would be a lot of fun. All right, so they also shifted some of the rarities too. So in the commons or ordinaries, I should say, we might see some things that are today exceptionals and vice versa. So this would, and there's the ordinary lands are not, by the way, in the slot that they normally would be. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay, so that start. Oh my goodness. Are these not in the order that I expected them to be in, perhaps? So
that's a unique.
Yeah. So the unique apparently last in the pack. Very fast.
That is exceptionally rare. Remember that only 2.59 uniques exist of each card in the sample packs. So you and maybe 1 to 2 other people in the entire world is having that kind of card. That is mind-boggling.
That's pretty cool. So what does it say?
Is. This is actually not too different from the current one. It's 4 mana, a unique relic of impending doom, and it has the grid on it with 20 in the middle. At the start of your turn, put a counter on this device. When there are 3 counters on it, it detonates. It deals no damage if burrowed or submerged. So it's interesting. It gives you a way to diffuse it. Which I don't think
that is
the new one.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm
Sleep
it. All right, let's see. All right, so this is an exceptional, the Tring Constrictor. Kind of a neat card with an ability to disable other minions. Tap the Constrictor to tap and ensnare an adjacent minion. That minion does not untap as long as the Constrictor is tapped. You may choose not to untap the Constrictor at the start of your turn and keep ensnare going. Very similar effect to
it sounds
in alpha.
Yes, indeed. Oh, that is cool too.
Shield Maidens.
Wow, they are so, absolutely saturated. The colors here is really wild.
And that is exceptional, just like in the game.
I hope that it comes through on the screen, but yeah, they're very. So this is interesting. The has a keyword on it called Iron Skin, and it says nearby allied minions have iron skin. So I don't know what iron skin was. I don't know if it was damage prevention from lethal or what it was, or maybe actually I think I thought I might have known that it was like the turtles, the tufted turtles, where you have to be hit twice.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's
but
true.
That's very cool. I don't think I've heard anyone mention that keyword previously.
No, definitely. But again, one thing that has been changed, maybe because it made the game simply too hard to kill minions.
Yeah, probably.
Most of the cards that I've seen that have been changed have been sort of nerfed a bit. I think they try to balance things a little bit more. Okay, so here we have an ordinary Rain of Arrows. Looks quite similar. Oh no, it's exceptional. It's exceptional at this point. And exceptional magic that delivers death from above. The arrows deals 1 damage to and taps all minions. Wow, taps them all.
Whoa,
they don't tap during the controller's next untap step for 1
whoa.
That would have been nuts. So I guess we're glad they nerfed that one a little bit.
Yeah,
definitely. That's OP.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
And what's the casting cost? Only 1 or
just one and 1 Earth and
Whoa. Imagine just having 2 of those in hand.
Wow, again, so saturated in those oranges and red colors. It actually really comes through nicely. That's pretty amazing.
It's closer to red actually than orange.
Is.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. Plume Pegasus, so it's a little bit different. It's plumed.
Yeah.
It's identical in every other way. It's 3 for a 3/3 or 3 power, I should say, and it's airborne. So I think that it's very similar. However, it does have different text here. An ordinary beast soars high with pride, and the flavor text is to see the Pegasus fly is to feel the spirit soar.
Oh, nice version as well.
One of my friends actually has the original Melissa Benson sketch for Mesa Pegasus from Alpha. And as
I-
Mike has on his website, he actually has a picture of that sketch. He's not the one who has it, but she actually originally envisioned Mesa Pegasus as having a tail from a peacock like this. And
Yes.
so he has that version, which is so cool. Such a neat piece
Oh,
of
that's
history.
very cool because I mean that would have made a major difference to a very iconic Magic card.
Yeah, I love
Oh,
that
look
card.
at that!
Wow, the Dryads.
Yeah, the Abilene Dryads. These are actually a favorite of mine in Pauper decks because of the ramp is so good. They're basically like the Llanowar elves of this, right?
Yeah,
I would be very happy to own that card if I were you. I think it's both beautiful, but also actually it's a really good card.
Ordinary mythic women. That's an interesting oxymoron.
Yeah.
Ordinary mythic women of the woods. You have 1 more mana. And there's a little poem on here. How strange to greet this misty morn, a graceful parade of elusive blossom. These children of the wildwood, born a verdant force, a power so awesome.
Oh, that's pretty
Blossom
cool.
and awesome rhymed in any like rap songs or anything, I don't think.
I heard the rhyme.
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh.
And we've got some Scourge zombies.
Ooh,
So same name
very
as
cool.
as today. And 1 mana instead of 4 mana for a
Whoa.
2/2. And when these zombies die, burrow them instead of discarding them. Unburrow if a mortal dies nearby. Wow.
Okay.
I really like that version of it, actually. It's probably a little OP.
Yeah, but more flavorful, right?
But it's very cool.
Yeah, but it still requires something to die nearby, so it's kind of balanced.
Oh,
So we got some Belmont Bowman, Longbowman. This is actually my second Belmont Longbowman, I believe. And it just says range +1. So I guess it could shoot. I mean, it makes sense, right? It's a Longbowman. That's a historical thing. And there's a quote on here, which is clumsy and slow, the wretched crossbow, a cousin thus crafted to odious foe. And it's Archer's Lament.
mm.
Cool.
I don't know who wrote the Archer's Lament, but that may be a famous piece. All right. Blink. There's a solid spell.
Definitely.
Blink and not Blizzard.
I'm very, very interested to see what that actually did, if that has been changed, because that's such an iconic and really playable card now.
Absolutely. Ordinary quick short distance magic. Move target friendly minion to a nearby site. If Blink is cast on your turn, draw a spell. It costs 0.
Whoa. Okay.
And you can use it on an opponent's turn.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah. That's cool.
Makes dodge a little irrelevant. All right. And we've got a Fey Changeling. Drew's great art on this one. And casting cost 2, which is cheaper. An ordinary mythic and most unwelcome guest. This changeling may be played on any occupied site. Unsummon target minion there when you do. So very similar in that regard. Though it being ordinary, of course, is a change, right? Because that's an exceptional.
And what do we have here?
Always good to have basics. Any of the lands are very rare in these packs, so it's really always fun to open one. And we've got one of the basic villages here. This one is the Rustic Village, Genesis. Well, okay, so these are fun because you didn't have to pay one; you just got your guy. It's Genesis 7, a 1-power foot soldier here. So
okay, that might also be a bit too powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable nerf to implement there.
Yeah, play a land and get a creature.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting a few too many cards here, so I'm just going to pull these ones off. All right.
So what does that
I think
do?
that's one of the cards that did actually change quite a bit, as far as I remember from reading up on it.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting about it, it's got the same casting cost and power, so 5 and 4. but it's an ordinary array of mortals and beasts. So it has 2 creature types on it.
Ooh.
And it says summon on 2 adjacent sites occupies 2 sites, which makes sense, right? A caravan is not just a couple guys.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I kind of like the flavor of that. That, you get that vision of having this long, winding caravan across multiple sites.
Yeah, you can go get it with assorted animals, and you can pump it with, the king of the realm, and it's, or you kill it with mortality as well as, it's really interesting, the 2
It
types.
opens up some more play space, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it still a dual creature type now, or?
No.
No.
I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So you could do the same thing, I guess, because it's all creature types. So they opened it up even wider, I guess.
Ooh.
All right. So here we have the rattlesnake, which used to be, or is now the pit viper, I should say. It's 2 mana 2/2 with burrowing and lethal. So in terms of the effects, it's exactly the same. And it says ordinary beasts slither and rattle here.
Mm.
Is it still a 2-power creature? I can't remember. Or is it a 1-power creature now?
That is a
It's a
good
2.
question.
No, it's a 1. I'm thinking the scorpions are 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we got a beast of burden. And boy, is that red instead of orange in this early edition. And this beast may carry an allied minion. An ordinary beast bears the weight of the world. No, bears the wide world. Interesting.
Oh.
And it's 3 for a 3/3.
But yeah, that looks almost like unrealistic because it's so red. It doesn't look like a desert or anything. It just looks like a foreign planet or something like that.
Yeah, it's a Mars scene, right?
Yeah, right.
Running around at the smokestacks of Narc or something.
Oh yeah, they could be.
Oh, this is a
Ooh.
nice playable.
Wow. That was some good playables, both the
Grapple
blink
shot.
and the grapple shot.
Okay, I'm really interested in hearing what that does. Or
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if there's something like an Alpha 40 for sample packs where you maybe have sample pack. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's a format in Magic where it's only a 40 card deck, but it has to be all Alpha cards.
You need to build that format for these sample cards, I think.
I'm not sure who I'd play with, but
no, exactly. I think there might be very few players out there.
Okay, so starters, this costs 0.
Oh.
I am tempted to sneak some of these into my constructed decks and scare the heck out of
Just see if people notice.
something. Like, what do you mean? I just use the spell. Ordinary quick magic. So I guess quick is capitalized, and quick was in one of the other terms we talked about before. So I'm guessing quick means it's an interrupt instant playable on the other opponent's turn. So ordinary quick magic to both assist and assault. Drag your minions in a straight line until it reaches another minion. If that minion is an enemy, your minion attacks the grappled minion.
Ooh.
Okay, so we can also see that the keyword with projectile is something that they invented later on.
Yeah. Yep. So they changed that in a couple of different ways. So maybe, I don't know if you guys have any questions about the sample cards, but
I'm just going to put us back on screen and then we can just talk a bit and then we can maybe have a look on something that I see behind you because I also see some cool stuff going on in that windowsill of yours. So maybe, TG, if I was going to pick up a sample card, how would I ensure that it is indeed a sample card? Is there any way that I can tell the difference?
Well, you can never be absolutely sure. I think maybe the obvious thing is that it has a copyright symbol with a C in it instead of the alpha or beta symbol. That the depth of the colors give a pretty big clue about it as well. And then you're going to want to pull out a loop, like a little magnifying glass, basically, and look at the dot pattern and compare it, hopefully, to another sample card to kind of make sure that it checks out as being the same. So those are the things I would look for. It appears to have the same black core as the rest of the sorcery cards as well. So those are what I'd be looking for if I was looking at a sample card to try to verify that it was real. And you can find them there, in addition to Mike doing pack breaks where you can get some. You see them sometimes on eBay. I imagine you might be able to find some on the Sorcery Marketplace from time to time as well.
Yes, I think they have been popping up now. Every now and then, as more get opened, it seems like people are trying to either sell or trade some of their duplicate ones, because there will, of course, be more of the ordinary rarity cards. So, how would I pick up if I wanted to go about picking up an entire sample pack? If I didn't just want one slot, how do you pick up one of those?
I think you get lucky. You just got to keep your eye out for one that's for sale, and I happen to find mine on eBay. A lot of them have been bought up by Mike to do pack breaks, which is actually a nice democratization in some ways of the packs, which is good. But I think you basically just need to put out feelers and keep your eyes open and be willing to pounce if you see something in your price range.
Yes, very cool. So these are they are really rare. So if you do have to pick one up, they do come at quite a cost. But then you also end up with some very unique and cool items that you won't see around every day. It's a really nice little collector's piece to have there. So Chief,
they might be good investments if anybody remembers that Sorcery exists in 10 years, or they might not. But if Sorcery takes off, I think they'll be quite interesting for people.
Definitely, I think so too.
Okay, so
I'm just gonna pop you up. We don't want to be looking at me and Jens. We want to see all the art.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So there you go.
So the last time we spoke, I talked about my interest in collecting some Sorcery art, and I didn't have any. I did go start poking around a little bit. And for example, I reached out to Dan Seagraves. His work has all been sold for Sorcery. So if you want to buy Dan's work, you'll need to buy it on the secondary market. And I think that we'll see primary and secondary being more expensive with Arthurian Legends and Fora and so on as people have become really excited about this art. But I have an iconic piece, one of the few pieces that was actually painted for beta right here. Oh, sorry, I got the wrong side. This is the reverse of the. This is the problem with the reverse screen. And this is Jeff Mengus's Vile Imp, and he's such a cool little character. I mean, he has been a meme magnet.
Exactly.
And you know, Jeff's a good friend, and I reached out and asked him if he still had it a couple months ago, and he did, and I was super excited that he did have it. So that's the Vile Imp, and very excited to have that one in my collection for multiple reasons. Another one that I got was the Summoning Sphere.
Oh, that is very cool.
By Meko Nagipal, and it's a bit glossy, so maybe hard to see, but there's a wonderful bunch of little red eyes in there that are a little hard to see in the card, and you have all these creatures coming from some other place.
Oh, you can even see the creatures, swarming out of the Summoning Sphere.
Yes, exactly.
Wow, that is creepy, actually.
Quite a creepy piece, and it's a little hard to make out some of those details, I think, on the card. But now that you know what it looks like, you'll be able to spot them on the card itself.
Oh, that's
wow,
nice.
and that sky in the background.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. It's like the ones from some of the towers, right? He's got those.
Yeah, exactly.
The warm cones and the cool tones. And I'm sure you've seen, as I get out of the way here a little bit.
Highland Clansman.
Highland Clansman. This is a big piece. Such a cool piece. So many characters, great feel to it. Really captures that army coming at you feel to it.
Yes, it does really, and a very nice, piece, and the whole landscape and everything. I really enjoy that as well.
And I should have said that's a Truett Parish piece, which his stuff's really, really cool. He's new. I think this is his first game or the first thing.
I think so.
Wow.
And
yay, it made it.
Your favorite piece with the dog/goat.
Exactly.
It's still out there.
It's definitely a goat.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you get the right to say so. You are holding the piece.
it's such a cool piece. And for those who have been on the Discords, you'll know that it got lost in shipping for a while, which caused me and the sender both some gray hairs. But luckily it got here just fine. And it's a beautiful piece. And Elvira does beautiful work, and it looks great.
Oh, that's so cool.
I've seen some battle mages going around with that blaze, and it is quite effective on a battle mage.
So good. That leap attack and Mad Dash have ruined my day in many a game. And then the last sorcery piece I've managed to collect is Border Militia, also a Truett Parish piece. One of the other things that's kind of nice about his pieces is they are fairly living room friendly, depending on if you're concerned about such matters. There's cow skulls on the fence, but and there is a guy with a harvester or reaper in the front there. But if you look at it, there's just some birds flying and a cute little church in the middle of town. So it's actually quite pretty, and I really like the piece.
I think what's very interesting, I'm just going to pop us back on screen for a while. I think what's very interesting about Truett Parish is that he feels like he, in some ways, really carries the essence of what both Eric and Simon were talking about in the retrospective, that it has this down-to-earth, medieval, sort of very realistic tone at sometimes, and then it's mixed with all these fantastical elements as well. And I think Truett's pieces, they really reflect some of that down-to-earth sort of medieval vibe, maybe.
Yeah, these two in particular have no fantasy element per se to them, right? It could be an actual bunch of Highland clansmen charging. They're obviously imagined and a bit whimsical, but they're not flying or shooting bolts of lightning or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's nice, and that goes for a lot of his art. The Crusade and Jihad as well is also more about just portraying something as it is, but in his own style, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, agreed. I agreed. His work has been a nice addition to the game, and nice to see a new artist as well.
Yes, exactly. And I think also it's nice that Eric keeps like picking some different people that we don't necessarily know that well, but that we definitely will know very well after their engagement with sorcery. So it's going to be exciting to see what pops up for Arthurian Legends in terms of art and artists.
Well, I sure hope that Truett will be traveling around the world, going to vintage sorcery events 30 years from now, the way that guys like Jeff do today. That would be fantastic.
Yes, absolutely. We hope so. And it's kind of cool. I don't know. Are you going to participate in, I've just seen a few things like events pop up for sorcery in the US. There's going to be a Sorcery Cup in Baltimore, I think. And I saw something about Sorcery Con as well. Are you going to be able to join any of those?
Yeah, there's a Sorcery Con out on the West Coast. I don't know if I'll get to that. And then there's something called the Quarterzen Cup, which that's a bit of an interesting term. In the classic use of the phrase, it just means a court flunky or kind of somebody who's running around in the court. Today, it has a little bit more of a sketchy vibe to it.
Yes.
So I don't know exactly sure about that choice. But anyway, there's a qualifier for it in Baltimore. There's a qualifier for it in West Virginia. I imagine there'll be a couple more that pop up. Me and a couple friends are going to the Baltimore one. It's about 2 hours, a little less than that from where I live. So that'll be a lot of fun. And we've been running a lot of events. So we've had I think 15 people for draft. Last night we had
that's a nice amount.
Yeah, absolutely. We had to do 2 pods. It varies, it varies from week to week how many folks, but I run them at my place. And then there's also a store in Paoli, Pennsylvania that's been running as well. And they have a league, which has been really cool too. So we're trying to get a good community going. And I just encourage everybody to try to jumpstart your own community. We're talking a little bit on the boards about the fact that, giving people some extraordinaries that you have, or a deck, or maybe just one of the pre-con decks is only $10, right? Buy the 4-pack for $40 and give it to 4 friends, and jumpstart your sorcery community so you have people to play with, because you can't buy people to play with per se, but you can jumpstart them a little bit. And so far, whenever I've introduced somebody to sorcery, never, I've had one person, I think, out of maybe 20 plus kind of go, it may not be my thing. So most people love it.
But I think that's so cool also because we are seeing a lot of new people come in who don't know like the history or know that the Kickstarter was actually just last year. So people are like, a bit discouraged maybe that their local scene isn't playing or anything like that. And I think that's a great way to sort of like kickstart your own community. If there isn't one, then you can be the one to like get things going. Build pauper decks out of your bulk, give away some precons if you have that option, and just get that community started because this is just the beginning. And I think for people who have only been playing Magic for a long while, they're just used to just showing up anywhere and there's a draft always on Fridays. Sorcery needs a little help still, so definitely be that community Kickstarter yourself. So that's really awesome. And you're going to an event as well.
Yeah, I'm going to a tournament in Sweden, in Stockholm, next weekend. And I think we are, maybe there are going to be 12 players at the event. So I'm really excited to see how that's going to go. And we also know that the artist, Matthias Frisk, is participating. So I'm looking really much forward to that. I'm going to pack my backpack with cards and a playmat and just wear his little hand out with a pen or something. But it's going to be fun, I hope.
Oh, that's going to be so much fun. And just meeting other people playing Sorcery right out in the wild and getting to spend some time with Matthias, that'll be fantastic. The other thing I just want to add to what I was saying earlier is, this doesn't just work in, a big city. I'm in the country, right? We're out in a farm. We're on the edge of Amish country. There's people riding around literally with buggies on my road. So it's not, you can do this. If you have a good group of Magic players around, go tap into that. Go tap into their frustration that Magic comes out with a new set every 3 days. And you'll have some good success, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a good thing to remember. Also, we went down to play at our local AGS and just had one other person who wanted to play with us. We were like, cool, let's jump into that. And I think we're trying to set up something next time. We're going to be 5 people. And I mean, it's not going to be a huge amount of people, but just getting that ball rolling and also showing the store owner that he is carrying Sorcery right now and that it's actually something we're interested in because I'm sure he will be more likely to order more next time if he sees people, actually playing in store.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you heard the folks from Sorcery explaining to you, I think it was Simon's interview that you did where, hey, Europe didn't get as much because there wasn't as much pre-orders, because there wasn't as much, I guess, word of mouth or whatever. So getting that pull from the distributors and from the game stores is really going to be important to having availability for you guys.
Yeah, exactly. And we kind of need to, help with that as well. And also, that's also part of doing the content is also we think the game is really fun and it's really cool, but we also want to try to get out there as much as we can with 3 kids at home. It does, put a little restraint on how much time we have to go out, but we do try to get out there. So your local community, are there new people joining or are they, are you getting like a group of people coming every time?
Yeah, it varies based on people's schedules and that sort of thing, of course. But yes, we've had, last weekend I went out and played at one of our local stores, and I think I gave out 4 pre-con decks to people. I demoed I played a couple demo games or taught people demo games. There's a couple other people who were just there, and I know from Magic, and just gave them some packs, and they were excited to go home and try it at home. So that's been fantastic. We are continuing to see new people, and the people who have played are excited to try it again. And I think the draft format they quite enjoy. I think the constructed, we still need to get enough cards into people's hands. Yeah. But most people who have tried the draft then go home and they'll buy a box or maybe 2 boxes, and open them, and now they have a collection. And the other thing I've done to see the community is give away ordinary play sets, or even some friends, because they didn't have as many, exceptional play sets. And that way they can make good decks. And it's not like, yes, if you want a Philosopher's Stone, that's a bit of an investment, $200 or so. The cores are maybe $75. But if you look at Magic cards, I mean, $200 is like, every EDH deck that probably average EDH deck, I shouldn't say every EDH deck, because you can make a very budget one also, has a $100 card in it. So it's not crazy. The barriers to entry aren't high. You don't necessarily need to have a Philosopher's Stone to make a great deck. So you could probably make a deck that's competitive for like $50 or less.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also some of the first things we did were just building a couple of pauper decks from the alpha bulk. And we actually had a ton of fun with that. I mean, I got pummeled, so not so fun for me, but it was, it was an enjoyable way of playing anywho. So if you have people local to you and you have the ability to give out some bulk, I think it's a really great way to sort of, just introduce some people to the game so you have more people to play with.
Yeah, and that's one of the things the league at the store nearby did. They had a pauper night, which was a lot of fun. My deck did great, so I had an extra 4-0. It was good.
Oh, okay, pretty cool.
Okay,
Pretty cool.
was that the Fire Earth deck?
I went with a. I'm trying to remember if I had just Earth. It's just Earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just taking notes for that tournament.
Yeah, so how has the draft experience been? Could you speak to that? Because I think that's one of the things we haven't tracked yet.
Yeah, drafting, because the packs have the similar amount of cards to Magic, you can basically draft very much like Magic. And I think there's formal rules now, but they're pretty much adopted what everybody had been doing, which is that you build a deck with 25 spells and 12 sites. And one of the challenges to it, to setting it up, is getting enough basic sites, right, that you can provide them to people so that everybody can have that land bank. Though you can always proxy them as well. It's not a big deal, especially since most decks will be two elements. You just don't need that many. As far as the experience itself, there's one of the things that's fun about it, and I guess this is true with all drafting, is watching people struggle with, I got this foil, but this ordinary really helped my deck. What do I take from this pack? So is it rare drafting, or is it drafting for competition? And I think we've seen some really interesting archetype pop up. I have one friend who really loves, Reanimator style decks. He was able to make a really competent Reanimator style deck in black.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. In draft, I didn't think he was going to pull it off, but then I built a constructed deck based on his draft deck. And we've seen all kinds of different color combinations and so on. Last night, I had a really fun deck, which was a fire or water deck. And the best piece of deck tech in that is using boil on your own water sites when your opponents come. So you kind of create a water moat around your avatar. And when they step into there, you boil them.
That's also incredibly flavorful. That is very cool.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, it's been great. I think we've seen some people who were very new to the game, even somebody who had never played before, on a couple of occasions win the draft, just because I think the concepts of removal and creatures and having a balance and having a mana curve, right? All of those things are very portable. I think going from I've got the basics of this and I can do a decent deck to I'm going to win a lot and do really well is quite a gap. I don't feel like I've mastered that. I have done better in constructed than I have done in draft, which is great. You don't want to win your own events anyway. I have the fun at them.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. That's really cool. So do you have any last questions?
I don't have that much voice left, so I'm trying to not.
We're just gonna spare your voice.
You all to death.
So Tiki, that was really cool because we haven't opened any sample packs ourselves. We haven't really had the opportunity to buy into one of those. So it was just really cool to see this extremely rare thing and to see you actually also start off very strong with just pulling a unique. That was really cool. So congratulations on that one.
Yeah, no, that was super cool. I'm really happy to have that Doomsday device, and I definitely would like to get some more sample packs if any pop up. So if anybody's interested, I'm sure there's lots of interest out there. So make sure you put it up maybe on eBay as an auction or something and see how you do.
Yeah, definitely. So, Gigi, thank you so much for joining us again. I feel like this would be very cool to continue to hang out every now and then, seeing some art and just talking a bit.
Yeah, it's always nice to see you guys. Enjoy playing TTS with you and chatting about all these nerd things. So thank you for taking the time with me today. I appreciate it very much.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing. And please do hit that like button if you enjoyed this pack opening. And we will be seeing you in the next video. Bye, guys.